Let's go ahead and do with one draw right now. I gotta get the raffle tickets, guys. Oops. I need to get the giveaway tickets, guys. Neptune helpers. Do we have the bucket yet? So we got some great prizes up here, guys. We've got a full Neptune Apex. We've got a Dose. We've got some Radeons up here, XR15 Pros. So we got about $4,000 worth of prizes we're going to be giving away all throughout the presentation. For those of you that think you're going to leave and go do something else, you know, you've got your swag that you have, you're just going to miss out on all that because I'm going to be giving it away all the way through. That's the way we do it. And at the very end, that's when you'll be able to get your t-shirts that we have up here. Did you all get a ticket for a t-shirt? Excellent, excellent. Those of you that pre-registered, you realized that it was a good thing because you got some cool stuff in that swag bag. But let's start off. Let's give away an FMK flow monitoring kit. How's that sound? How's that sound? That's a little better. Okay. Got a lot of tickets in here. Some people bet their tickets thinking that's going to help them. Who bet their ticket? They're not going to say it. See, they're smart. Okay, so let's see. The first winner is 6115. 6115 wins that FMK. Let's kick this show off. Come on, give them a round. Everybody needs the prizes. 6115. Who is it? Put up your hand. Who is it? Don't try to be shy. Okay? Usually I throw these at people's heads, you know? There, I'll just throw it like that. All right. So, thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate you guys to come out to this event. We love doing it. We've done it now for 5 years. We started doing it in Miami. Where are the Miami guys? Yeah, the Miami guys are right there. We started there. We had, I don't know, 40, 50 people there in Miami. And it was a great event, and we just said we got to do it every single year because it's just so much fun. And I know it's in the morning, it's kind of tough. And the other thing that we need to do is we need to thank the sponsors. I want to do that right now because we have sponsors for this event so you guys can get more cool gear. You can get the stuff in the bags, you get the great food. SaltwaterAquarium.com. Excellent. So these guys, they really show up for this event. When we did the first one in Miami, good, right? Ken showed up and said, Terrence, this is great. But you know what? We need bacon, okay? We need some bacon. Next year, I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to sponsor this. And I said, yeah, that's awesome. Let's get some sponsors, make this even bigger than it can be. And so Ken came and brought bacon. Then the next year, I don't know, we went to Denver, I think it was the next one. Ken's like, you know what? Bacon's just not enough, okay? We need to have champagne at this event. I'm like, champagne? Looks like you guys are liking the champagne, huh? So anyway, so Ken's company, SaltwaterAquarium.com, the free shipping, everything that they do for you guys is awesome. You probably have a card on your thing for some free t-shirt if you order from them. And all the sponsors here already are doing 10% off on all Neptune products, okay? And you guys know I don't let these products go on sale anywhere. I know all of you are like searching the internet, spending hours like looking for them on sale. They are on sale at every one of the sponsors right now. So let's give it up once again for SaltwaterAquarium.com. Excellent, excellent. Next up, Premium Aquatics. Now, Premium Aquatics is a great company. They've been helping us out probably since almost the beginning, second year we started doing it. Those goodie bags that you have and all the cool stuff in there, we're able to do that because they help share the cost of that, those goodie bags and all the things that go in there. So let's give a big round of applause for Premium Aquatics. Really love those guys. You guys like the swag bags? You like that? Is that good this year? Have some good stuff in there? You guys all got your beads on? You know? Come on, pull them out of your bags, put your beads on, join the crew. We'll talk about boat free supply. Excellent, excellent. Boat free supply helps us with raffle donations and the Radeons that we have up here. And it's really cool that they're on board helping us put this event together. Again, these three sponsors, go out there, buy your products from them, help support this particular event. And today you got 10% off, and I know also Boat Free Supply has a card inside the bag. Oh, so you think you can get yours in late? They won. I think they won the Apex last year. Anyway, not this year. They won. I won't let that happen. But anyway, go out. They have 10% off today through the end of MACNA on all Neptune Systems products. Next thing is, you guys, all you control freaks, are making it happen out on the Neptune Systems forums. It's amazing how much activity we have out there. The active member count is like 2,000. That's people who are on the forums regularly to help people out, to ask questions and whatnot. So definitely go out to the community forum if you haven't already. How many people here have accounts on the community forum that we have? Excellent, excellent. It's really, really good, and really appreciate all you control freaks that are out there helping us and helping all of our various other people that need ideas. Now, you guys see the new T-shirts they got up here, right? Control Freak Crew. What is that? Anybody here know what a crew is? Anybody? Nobody from New Orleans? Yeah, I knew somebody here. Someone talk up. So, a crew is basically Mardi Gras. They're different groups of people that have been around for many, many years that get together. And they have a theme, right? And they put together their Mardi Gras floats, and they get together, and they're kind of a cool group of people that get together. We are now the Control Freak Crew. So say hi to Kurt for sure when we go to booth. Okay, next up, every cool group of people, they all have some way to let each other know that they're part of the group, right? So we're going to do the same thing. So let's put our hands together and make our own Control Freak Crew sign. So you put your hand like this, okay? Then you take your other hand and you put it like this, okay? And what do you get? Of course, you get the Neptune logo right there. So when you guys walk around and see somebody else that's part of the crew, you flash them the sign like this. You do it at the booth, who knows? You might have something for you at the booth. So let's see. Everybody flash your sign. Come on, let's put it up. Woo!
Hey, no problem, Jason.
All right. All part of the crew. You guys got your swag. Everything's going on. So what are we doing here today? Other than drinking and trying to get free prizes, we're going to have an announcement of who the Marine Aquarium Hobbyist of the Year is. Then Rich Ross is going to come up here and talk about some cool things that he's doing with his Apex. We've got Jim Welch. Some of you might know who he is. I'm going to come up. I'm going to do a quick year in review of some of the things that we released this year, along with the things that are going to be coming in the announcements. Then we'll do a quick Q&A and we'll give away the biggest prizes at the very end. How's that sound? Excellent, excellent. So the Marine Aquarium Hobbyist of the Year is something that we started 3 years ago. And really what we wanted to do was create something that we could give to like the average guy who's doing what he should in the hobby as far as in a club and he's humble. No matter setbacks or staying with it, all of these different things that make a really good hobbyist, but they're not like somebody who we see around everywhere. They're in the speaker room. They're just kind of sitting in the background. They're doing what they're doing and helping everybody in the hobby. Now, the selection criteria again. Are they humble? Are they helpful? Are they really kind of the everyday reefer? Although some of the, like Brad Cyphus, for instance, the first Marine Aquarium Hobbyist of the Year, has an incredible aquarium and meets all of these kinds of things. It's not a requirement to have the most baller SPS tank, because that's not really what it's about. A few of us here in the room, we have great, nice aquariums. Others have aquariums that, they're just great to have in your home, but they're not going to be the tank of the year, and that's okay, because it's a hobby to have fun in and enjoy with your friends and family. And that's the kind of person that we're looking for. We basically get, to become the Marine Aquarium Hobbyist of the Year, you have to be nominated by your club. We get all the nominations in, and then we go through and kind of pick out a few that we think are the best, and then we get together with a group of people in the hobby, respected people in the hobby, and we just kind of talk about it and decide, and they come to an agreement on who it should go to. Now the award, obviously you get the bragging rights, you get a cool little plaque, and you get $500 in Neptune Systems gear. So I definitely encourage stuff since they're 10 years old, most of us, come on, really. worked with planted tanks early on, went to nanos, and this is the typical thing, right, that we see. Setbacks, everybody in the club goes through, he shares it with people. Took a leadership role in his club. And so this is something really important. Having been in a leadership role and creating a marine aquarium, a hobbyist club, it's super difficult, and there's really no thanks for it most of the time. You do it because it's fun, right, guys from Florida? I see you all down there. It's like, it's just fun to do, and yeah, exactly, throw down. I like to see that. And you know, people are really giving back when they do that because they're not getting that much in return, and it really helps a ton of people in these clubs. So he helped push the club forward, worked in leadership role, helps people with emergencies, tank moves, new reefers, all of those things that we want to see. This happens to be his aquarium. He's also a control freak. He's got an old school Apex, black label in there, you know. So he's keeping, mixed reef, some cool stuff. So we're just going to go ahead and announce it. Okay? The Marine Aquarist Association of South Texas. Did I get that right? Excellent, excellent. And that person is Justin Nelson. Let's give it up for all right, one more big hand. Also for the club. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do another giveaway, and then we're going to kick it over into Rich Ross so he can get his thing going on. Okay? So, for this giveaway, let's give away two things. We're going to give away a nice little NPR, magnetic probe rack, and an automatic feeding system. How's that sound? Sorry, I got to get the mic out.
My name is Karen. Okay. All right, who wants to win a prize? Now this is funny because sometimes people are like, I want to pull my ticket. If he pulls my ticket, I'm not going to win the big prize. Can I refuse the prize? Can I give him the prize back and he puts his ticket? No, it's not going to happen. So it's kind of a love-hate thing when you win one of the early prizes, right? But they're all good. So for the NPR, the winner is 6056. 6056. NPR, come forward. Somebody. Nobody won. Okay. Hey, you got to shout it out. I'm going to go to the next ticket. Okay, he won 6056. Now for the AFS. Who wants to win the AFS? Woo! All right. Oh, that's. Yeah.
Well, I get a mic.
Oh,
am I on?
You're on.
Okay, I'll hide that.
Yeah, we got the proper introduction. Well, don't you need a unicycle for that?
That's tomorrow night.
Oh, is that what it is? No, he doesn't really need introduction. The guy does everything, okay? And he also likes to pretend that he knows how to use an Apex. So that's what he's going to do up here today, is show you how he pretends he knows how to use an Apex. So everybody, Rich Ross.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, so this is me. My name's Rich Ross. This is my wife. She won an international skating competition. That's my daughter. When she was little, she was really hungry. She rides horses now using all that energy, and we take Halloween very, very seriously. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Something weird's happening. I had a good joke, and now I'm off of it. There we go. Let's see. Is that coming out? So, before we get into the Apex stuff, I was just in the field doing some coral restoration and spawning work, and we hear a lot of terrible stories about the reefs, and this is a terrible and good story, and I think these are important to share, so I'm just going to take a minute and do that. This is the Elkhorn coral, Acropora cervicornis. It's critically endangered. It's Caribbean Atlantic species, and on this particular trip, by some estimates, 90 to 95% of it is gone in the last 50 years. 90 to 95% of the coral cover is gone. And while I know that number, it really didn't mean anything to me. And on this trip, just out of the blue, we went and snorkeled a coral graveyard, which I've never seen before. So this is the kind of stuff we saw. And you can see the divers or the snorkelers in the background there up on your right. And I've never seen a coral graveyard like this. It just went on for areas the size of this room. This reef has gone down since the 70s slowly. It started with some disease, and then there was diadema urchin wipeout, and then there was some bleaching, and then there was some high temperatures. And it's really just kind of shocking. All of this is dead. But it's still up, for the most part, doing its wave-breaking function. Really just kind of awful and horrible, and it tells me why we do the kind of restoration work we've been doing. This is that coral alive. You can see it's not nearly as big as what we saw in the graveyard. And what we do at my work now, we have a project called Hope for Reefs that's working with the Nature Conservancy and Project Seacore, Sexual Coral Reproduction. So what we do is we go out and we inspect corals and we figure out which ones are going to spawn. And then when we know which ones are going to spawn, we see this. And you can see here those kind of pinkish white dots. Those are the egg bundles, egg sperm bundles getting ready to be released from the mouth of the coral, the polyp. When we see that, we tempt the corals up with this kind of device like this, and then the corals start to spawn. And we should get to it in a second. And that's a big coral bloom. And then the bundles are positively buoyant, so they float up and they go into. Now on this trip we had a massive spawn in 3 different sites, which is fantastic. So we collect as many colonies as we can, and then we take all of those gametes together and we mix them up in a big soup, and then we try to raise them up. So the spawn was pretty amazing thing to see. We fertilize the larvae in a big stew, like I was saying, and then baby corals swim around. Did you guys know that? The baby corals swim? It's always insane to me that they do that. Here's one's getting ready to attach to the substrate. Those are little corals. And they can really motor around. It's kind of cool. You don't get to see that often. They finally pick a house, and you can see next to the penny how small they are. That's a single polyp, brand new animal. What we do is we take that soup I was talking about and we throw it in these pools. And this is all experimental right now. Next year we hope to really be rolling it out for proof of concept. And we want them to attach to those tiles. They're called tetrapods. They've got good surface area. And the idea is, instead of going out and fragging pieces and gluing it onto the reef, which has got a big hit and miss ratio, doesn't necessarily grow up as much as you'd like them to do, and it's very labor intensive, we can spawn and get millions and millions of baby corals on those tiles, and then just toss them out on the reef, and those things are designed to lock in place like that. So it wasn't only that we saw the coral graveyard, we did also see a replanted reef that was taken by fragments of opportunity, which means frags that were broken and were going to die. And they were transplanted to this other reef. They grew up over 5 years and they spawned big. That was actually the footage I was showing. So in an era of when you're talking about acquiring wild coral reefs and how dismal things are, there is areas of hope. We are very clever animals, and I think we're going to figure out what to do. And if this project works, we'll know in the next few years it should go a really long way. And I'll talk a little bit more about this again at the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening to that. This is where I work at the Academy of Sciences, where I run a 212,000-gallon reef tank that kind of looks like that in the late afternoon. And it's based on an area in the Philippines. It's got 5 different windows. Each is a specific dive area. This is Devil's Point. And over here, this is based on a place called Dead Palm, because there was a dead palm tree in the water. There's no longer a dead putting a new door so I can have access to the tank from behind, and built this. And you can see there's a big 2-foot tall door there, so I can get to everything, but more importantly, so I can hide everything. I can leave it completely messy because I am lazy. You close it, and it looks like that, and it's much better. Under the house is a fantastic thing if you can do it. I put all the crap down there. That's a 40-inch crawl space. It's about 14 feet from the tank. And there's a 180-gallon same level. And this is when I was introduced to Apex, and I got the first Apex. And you can see it there, it's on the door up there of the bathroom. See? Apex. Right here, toilet. Out here, hallway. And that's the back of the tank. And what I really used this thing for at first was really just to turn my lights on off when it got too hot. And that was a fantastic thing. And if you read any of the articles I've written or I've seen any of my talks, I'm a real fan of distributed systems. I'm really worried about everything being in one basket, especially because the single biggest point of failure in any reef system is the reef keeper themselves. You'll see that in a minute. So I didn't want to put everything on the apex. I didn't trust it. So it was really just monitoring, and it was running the lights that would turn them off when it was hot. I slowly put other things on it. I got when Vortex came out, the WXM module came out. I did that. That seemed like a really nice thing to do, to be able to control it from there. But none of my critical systems were on it because I have multiple pumps in the tank and returns. They were all on a different circuit. So if anything borked with the apex, the other stuff was on, and I wouldn't lose the whole tank. And the other way around, if anything borked with my other stuff and the apex was still working, we're all good. And I really liked the WXM modules because it made everything easier to program because I am a lazy. So that was kind of my introduction to Apex. That was all I did with it. And then everything changed because I killed my tank. Not at all because I'm lazy, because I'm an idiot. And we're all idiots at this point. Late at night, for some reason, I was seeing a little bit of ammonia, or thought I was seeing a little bit of ammonia, so I dosed Anquil. And I'm telling you, if it's after 10 o'clock at night and you think about doing something to your tank, don't. Put everything down, go to sleep, and look at it in the morning. If nothing's dying, don't do anything. If you get home from vacation and you notice your sump is low, don't go to the sink and fill up a thing with water and pour it into your tank. Don't do that. Don't do anything when you're tired. So I killed all my SPS. It's okay to kill your tank. Because that's how we learn, right? What's not okay is to kill it the same way twice. So I've killed my tank 3 times. Once with caulk in a totally different way, which is okay because it can't happen now. And that second time, I ended up doing a little bit more with the Apex with it. But how I saved what I could save from the caulk overdose was with the Apex, because the caulk overdose drove my what is that called? pH? pH was like 10.8, which is bad, and the fish were. So I grabbed a long line from my skin, put it on my CO2 for my calcium reactor, which was being controlled by the Apex at this point. Ran that line 20 feet into the tank, and then changed the set points on that to control that CO2 dosing, and allowed that CO2 dosing to bring my pH down. Came down within 10 minutes. I took it apart, went right back out again, so I set it up and left it all night. The fish came back within 5 minutes after the pH got down. So Apex saved my fish there. And this time I just killed it by hand. Well, I can't even believe I did that. It was like right after the MACNA. It was awesome. Yeah, we don't know what happened. We don't really know what's in the Anquil. I'm talking way too much about this. But don't do it. Don't use it at 10 times the dosage, and don't put it directly in your tank. So everything was dead. It's actually funny. All the LPS were fine. Everything from the bottom third of the tank was okay. Almost everything from the top 2/3 was dead. So this was a great opportunity to switch to halides. I mean, not halides. From halides to LEDs. Because why would you switch if you got a thriving tank? It just seems like a weird thing to do. You need a compelling reason. So I did that, and it went really well. And then I went up to do a talk in Seattle and re-met this guy. This is Dwayne. He actually helped me install that 2-foot door because I don't know what I'm doing. Dwayne is an Apex nerd, which is fantastic. And he got me talking about the Apex more, and was really telling me that I should do more with it, and that he would help me, which is fantastic because I'm a lazy. So we did a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to show you some of that in a minute. Some of it, hi, how are you? Hi. Here you go, you want to write it. Carrots would kill me. And to show you how lazy I am, I got a breakout box. Dwayne said, get a breakout box. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. The first thing I did with it is set it up so when you open this door, the light goes on in the crawl space. I am literally too lazy to flip a switch. Literally. I'm also lazy and I don't want to deal with mixing water or carrying big things of salt around. I did that for 10 years. It got annoying. So now this man brings water to my house, which is fantastic because I am lazy. And we pump it into these tanks, and now I can use Apex, and I'll show you in a sec how to pump it to my system because I am king lazy. All right, let me hide this for a second. And as I was putting this together last night, actually, let me unhide that. Hold on one second. As I was making sure my talk was okay, it was a good thing that I did that because my talk was not okay. My talk fell apart last night, so I was putting it together again. And show people how you use Apex. And by no means, if you haven't understood it from what I was showing you before, I am not an Apex master. I am a user. I want to use the technology. I don't care how it works. And Apex is getting better and better at that for me. And one of the most amazing things with Apex is the community. So not only is there Dwayne, who is fantastic. I'm shocked at how quickly people give me responses, and I'm shocked at how snarkless most of those responses are. You go to a nasty snark. You go onto the briefing forums and you ask a question where you say, how big is this Micron cartridge? And someone goes, a Micron. You're a jackass. First of all, that's not helpful, and second of all, there's different size Micron filters. I'm asking, Apex people will say things like, check the sticky. But they won't say, check the sticky, you jackass, because that's not what the community is like. And often, they'll say, here's the code, but check the sticky. So it's kind of fabulous. So the two things that have made my life great, because I travel and I have an aquarium job, so dealing with this at home is kind of obnoxious. The Apex allows me to troubleshoot from the road. So this is my dashboard in Fusion. It's great. And we've got my salinity. These are the things I check all the time. Alkalinity, because I've got one of the prototype monitors. What's going on?
Easier for people to see.
Okay, we can't see. What are you doing? You're going to screw everything up. What are you doing? Oh, you want to make that bigger? Oh, sorry. Don't yell at me. I'm sorry. You don't own me, Terrence. He so owns me. No, it's bigger. Is that better? You want it even bigger? Bigger? Terrence, you want to do the top one? Alright, so we'll see. It'll be a little harder to find what's going on. These are the main things I care about when I'm on the road. Salinity, alkalinity, because I have, like I was saying, one of Jim's magic monitors. And I got to tell you, I'm so excited about this thing. I was excited about it last year when it was super prototype, and I was able to get one by threatening Jim's family. But it's run almost flawlessly for the last year, and so that says a lot for it. And I'm really looking forward to whatever Terrence is going to talk about later, which he wouldn't tell me. Although he did tell me whatever the new thing is, he says I'm going to be one of the first beta testers. You heard it here, right, Terrence? Okay, good. See what I did there? I just strong on it. So alkalinity has turned out to be really important. I'll talk more about that in my talk tomorrow if you're interested. And then temperatures and pH. pH you can't really do much about, but it's nice to have. So these are the things I check. And then if you go down, we're just going to do this. These are important too, soft fill and freshwater fill. I'm going to show you this. Let's go to the other thing here. The other thing I did was I finally found cameras that I like. And hopefully this is live. Does it look like it's beeping? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. So, this is great. This is under the house. And because pressing buttons made me nervous because I got no input that pressing the buttons did anything. If I'm gone. I do have this here as well. Let's see if this works. I have the Nest camera, which is good, but it just gives you this wide view. I hope my wife's not walking around naked.
kind of hope she is. That'd be great. Been on the road for a long time. So it kind of gives you a view of the tank.
Actually, what time is it there? There might be better hide this.
Things might happen.
But it started so I could turn lights on and things like that, so that's good. I'm actually not going to show you that screen. So here I can't see anything because the light I have in the sump is on, but so if I hit D over here, the light will come on and maybe all this will work. There you go. So that's my little adjust that. That's my disgusting, horrible, under the house, lazy system. That's my general view. So it's great. I can look at this when I'm on the road and I go, everything looks good, things are running, things are nice. Where I can go and go, let's see, the main thing I can do is my caulk drip, not my caulk drip, my calcium reactor drip. So let's see if this all goes. It should automatically move to a new location. And there you go. You can see right there, the calcium reactor is dosing. You can visually see that it's going, right? So if my pH is crazy, I want to be able to turn off or on the calcium reactor. But I also want to know that I've turned it off or on, so I can double check that. If the alkalinity is crazy, I can change that as well by changing the set points. This is all stuff I did last week. I come to the calcium reactor pH, open it up, and I go, if my pH is if my alkalinity is too low, I'll come in here and I'll lower these 2 set points. If it's too high, I'll raise these 2 set points. 5.1 is generally what I do. You don't want to go too big because you're not there. And that's incredibly useful. On the graph, I could see my alkalinity going down. As the corals were growing, alkalinity went down, which is an interesting thing to learn with the alkalinity monitor, the boom and bust of the usage of alkalinity. So I wanted to keep it up. I can also keep it up here. I have a dose system that doses caulk, and the same thing. You click on it here, and it's dosing 1,000 milliliters, which is, how many liters is that, Jim? 1 liter, good. Good. Modify intervals. All this is so easy. Go here. While I was gone, I changed it to 8,000, which is like 16 liters. No, 8 liters. And then I was able to watch it over the next day or 2. So it's incredibly helpful for me when I'm on the road to be able to see what's going on. There's a couple other things. Okay, here we go. Temperature, who cares? These are all my lights. You can turn them on and off. That's great. Let's get back to this, and I'll show you the King Lazy super awesome thing. Oh, it's up here. Sorry. So let's look at the skim mate. Would you make that baby quiet, please? There we go. There's my skim mate bucket right there. So this was another thing I loved about the Apex. So what happens with skimmers, right, is sometimes they go crazy and they pump a lot of water out. So I put a float switch on it so it shut off the skimmer if that happened, so I wouldn't lose too much water, right? Because does anybody have that happen? Is that just a thing that you use that? Right. Now, that thing's run by the Apex and the breakout box, which is fantastic because now, when that thing fills up, I get an email that says that switch has been flipped. So I now know when I'm on the road if I have to drain it, and then I know how often I have to drain it, because something may be weird going on. If I have to drain it 4 times in 3 days, something goofy's going on. But watch this. This is so King Lazy. You're going to love this. All right? I'm going to drain it. Oh. I love that I can be somewhere where people want to watch a bucket of sludge while I'm draining. Come on, Wi-Fi in a convention center. There's my. There. Oh, something happened. Oh my God, it's straight. Oh my God. It's not refreshing, but you saw it go down. There we go. Yes, that's what an idiot I am. I want to watch that happen. And look, the skimmers come back on. You can tell because that line there that's dumping water into that bucket is directly from the skimmer. When you start up the skimmer, it often overflows for a little while. and I can watch that. And look, there it's going down. And I don't care that this is chuggy. I'm often in the field on some island and I've got terrible internet anyway. As long as I can see stuff's going on, I'm super, super duper happy. So that's great, and I can watch that and be happy about that and see how that goes over the next few days and turn it off and on as I need to. It's a real peace of mind thing for me. I have to go back to D here. The other thing I was going to show you is, so if my salinity has gone down, which is something that happens all the time, because as my auto top off is topping off, salinity changes. Come on, come back on. Here we go. So salinity's going down, and we've lost everything. It's the worst talk ever. I got an alarm. It told me that I turned it off. That's good. All right, so anyway, you can turn this, the salt fill is important. It pops up because it says login succeeded. Good, okay. So we go to PTZ again. And I'll show you one more super nerdy thing, and then I think my time is almost up. It's gone. Oh, wait, I can do it this way. Let's see. Anyway, you don't have to see if you saw one thing work. The salt fill, I can add fresh water or salt water to the tank, but I can visualize that happening while it's happening. So I can see how much salt water I'm using, how much salt water I'm adding, and I know if I add a couple inches, evaporation over the next few days will cause my salinity to go up about 0.5 parts per thousand. So I can be on top of all that kind of stuff like that. I've got a couple. Got like 2 minutes.
Sure.
All right. Shut up, Siri. All my pumps do different things. I've got 2 gyres, I've got a Vortec, and I've got a J-bow, because I think having the best and the worst is a good idea at the same time. But they all do different things at different times, because I'm a big fan of chaotic flow. It's looking up how many pumps do different things. Press the wrong button. Come on. There we go. So I've set up all kinds of different profiles that do different things, and it also allows me to test without being crazy. So the gyre is, goes from 30 to 50%, or 10 to 15%, or, it's 50% or 10%, or it pulses, or 40 to 7%, or just on at 30%. They all do different things. Some of them are the same. I haven't gone back and cleaned it up because I am lazy, and it works now. But it's very nice to be able to have different things going on at different times, or I can override them at the basic level and just turn them on 100%, which sometimes I do when I'm feeding. So I'm going to go back to this, and I'll finish up about what I'm actually doing in the future with Apex. So, like I said, I was gone for a week. I was gone for 2.5 weeks, and this is what I came home to. Because I was able to head off salinity problems and alkalinity problems, and that's Terrence's favorite thing in my tank.
It is.
So the peace of mind I get from the Apex, and then combined with finally a pan-tilt zoom camera that actually helps, is just unbelievable to me. And I got a pan-tilt zoom I'm going to put in here and in the secret home lab. I think it's that's my favorite fish. So that's what the thing looks like. There's a lot of stuff. I use the dose to do a water change. It's automated, although I might stop that because I don't think it does anything, but you'll have to come to the talk tomorrow. New things that are going on. At work, we are setting up an in-tank coral spawning tank. So we're going to mimic the conditions in the wild to get corals to spawn in our lab. Jamie Craggs has done this at the Horn Museum in London. We're going to do it, and what that involves is basically setting up a big black box, a big dark room that you put your tanks in, so you can totally control the lighting. Lighting is really important, but also temperature. And what that means is I can no longer be lazy, because I have to go under the hood into the old-style dashboard of the Apex and put in all kinds of stuff to make sure that the light changes the same way it changes in the wild. and the temperature changes the same way it does in the wild. That's really exciting stuff, and it's stuff that we couldn't even consider doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because it just couldn't happen. I can control the lunar cycles as well. So it's shockingly, it's amazing, it's fantastic stuff. I am a fanboy both for being a lazy and for being at work where I'm not allowed to be a lazy. And we'll be getting this kind of spawning work in our lab next year. And of course, you've got to thank these people because, as I said, the Apex staff is great, the Apex community is great, and that's all I got. And we're going to get on to some other things. Thank you for your attention.
All right, we're going to have another. I almost said it. Giveaway. Oh, mic's on now. Okay. So we're going to have another giveaway here, and then we'll kick it over to the next speaker. Let's see. I don't know if they did that one. We already saw him, right? Yeah. He was really happy he had a gift made of himself. I don't know why. So now we're on this one. Okay, now we're on the next giveaway. So let's give away something good. Let's give away, how about another NPR? No, just kidding. Let's give away a Radeon. How about that? You guys can wake up, please. You're the deadest audience I have ever had. I just spoke to my wife, the Apex mom, and she said, what is wrong with these people? I get it. It's New Orleans. You're still waking up. But we gave you some hair of the dog there, so you should be back to it. There's coffee available. Let's get some excitement. We're going to give away a Radeon. How about that? Excellent, excellent. So, let's see. All right. Are you miking up over there? Oh, good. Excellent. Because that's what we're supposed to do in these interludes to get you guys mic'd up. And the winner is... Okay. 6-1. 6-1. Oh, shake it. Oh, yeah. All the whining and complaining for people and giveaways. 6-1, 8-7. 6-1, 8-7. 6-1, 8. Everybody's cheering. Many things in our hobby over the years, but he's super, super knowledgeable in aquarium testing and aquarium test kits. And what we're going to have him do today is talk to you guys about some of this stuff. And it gets kind of geeky, and he's kind of a geeky guy. So might pipe in, I might be interrupting here and there, so bear with me just to try to keep him on track so you guys can stay with it. Anyway, so let me give it up right now. I'm going to give it over to Jim Welsh. Let's hear it.
Okay. Good morning. We're going to talk about what we test for. We test for temperature. Everybody needs to test for temperature. Things in a nice range there. Salinity, that's an important one. pH, of course. We also do alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, the big three there. And nutrients, nitrate and phosphate. What other things do we test for? Ammonia in the recycling tanks, strontium, potassium is getting popular, and then there are also trace elements. Your copper and your lead and your tin and that sort of stuff. But you got to send samples off to an ICP testing lab like Trident in order to test for those things. So, his favorite way to test something. It's simple. You stick it in the water and you get a continuous real-time reading. Probes are wonderful things because you don't have to do anything aside from stick it in the water and get your reading. But a lot of things we can't test for with probes. So we have to use titrations, the test kits, where you get out and you have your sample and you put something in there and you add your reagent and you measure it. And now you have to use the color chart and figure out where does it match. So the colorimetric tests are another common way that we test for things in our tanks. And then Hannah has come up with these handy-dandy little checkers, the handheld colorimeters. And these are really convenient ways of testing. And a lot of people use those because they make things nice and easy. And then, of course, there are the contract laboratories, like Trident, where we can send water off, and in a few weeks we get our results. I'm going to talk today primarily about the things that we test for in our fish room, the things we do at home. So probes was the first thing I mentioned. And I want to go into a little bit of detail, not too much, about how a pH probe works. And so pH probes basically are measuring a voltage that's generated when you stick the probe in the solution. There's a reference electrode that's made of typically silver chloride, and it's sitting in a solution of potassium chloride usually that's a neutral solution. And so there's your reference electrode is always hanging out at the pH of 7.0. Then there's another chamber where there's the measuring electrode. It's also silver chloride. It's also sitting in a potassium chloride solution. And it's contained within this glass membrane, this glass, that allows the hydrogen ions in the solution. That's what you're measuring when you're measuring pH. You're measuring the concentration of the free hydrogen ions that are in the solution. And so the hydrogen ions will interact with that glass. It'll cause the charge to change in the measuring solution. But because the reference electrode is separated from the measuring electrode, the hydrogen ions don't affect that solution. So there's a charge difference, a potential between the two different electrodes. And so that this voltage gets created when you're measuring a solution that's anything besides 7.0. The more acidic the solution is, the higher the voltage is, and the more basic the solution is, the lower the voltage is. There are various other different types of probes, and I'm not going to go into all that, but I just wanted to touch upon what's really going on when you use a pH probe to measure things. Titrations. Now, most of the test kits that we use involve titrations. And titration is a big fancy word, but all it really is you're taking a certain amount of sample, and it has a substance in there that you're wanting to measure. Chemists refer to that as the analyte. And so it might be alkalinity, it might be calcium, it might be magnesium, but this is the thing that you're trying to test for. When you do a titration, what you're really doing is you're adding a reagent that has some other chemical that is going to react with the analyte that you're testing for. And the reaction is somehow going to consume that analyte. And all titrations have what they call...
Hey Jim, is there an easier word than analyte?
The stuff.
The stuff, okay.
The stuff
right.
that you measure.
I'm seeing some eyes glazing over here with this analyte and titration. It's
so
drops.
the analyte is
dropping, right?
It's the stuff you're measuring.
It's drops. Titration is drops, right?
And so with alkalinity, you always have it's always getting to the endpoint. Okay, so you have to figure out where's the endpoint of the titration. That's where you stop putting the drops in and time to take the reading. And so with all titrations, you need some way of detecting where is that endpoint. This is a graph of a classic acid-base titration. That's like what we do when we're doing the alkalinity. Obviously, it's not seawater that we're doing because the pH is starting way up about 11 there.
So is this chart on like Salford instructions or something, Jim?
No, this is off of some chemistry website that's teaching about acid-base titrations.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so you notice it uses the word here, equivalence point. I'm using the word endpoint. Now, those two things get used interchangeably, but they're not really interchangeable. What the endpoint is when you're able to know that you should stop the titration. And hopefully, in a perfect world, when you're doing titration, the endpoint is also at the equivalence point. But the equivalence point is typically where the titration is really over with. So the challenge in doing a titration is to get a method that allows you to have your endpoint coincide with the true equivalence point of the titration. And so, what is the equivalence thing that we're talking about, the equivalence point? Well, you can think of it as I added enough reagent to react with all of the analyte, the stuff I'm measuring for, there's an equivalence between the amount of the chemical that's in the reagent that's reacting with the stuff and the stuff that I'm measuring. And so that way, if you know how much sample you took and you know how much reagent it took and you knew the concentration of the reagent, you can figure out the quantity of the analyte, the stuff that was in the water that you're testing for. In the case of the Salford alkalinity test, for example, you use an indicator dye. The first few drops that you put in there, you're putting in an indicator dye that changes color at a pH that's very close to the equivalence point of alkalinity titration. Now, that's typically around pH 4.5, but it's variable. The exact pH at which that equivalence point happens, it varies based upon the amount of alkalinity that's in the sample, the salinity of the sample, the temperature. It also, when you're doing the titration, I mentioned salinity in the sample. Well, you're changing the salinity of the sample the whole time that you're doing the titration, because you're adding, that reagent is basically, it's a really dilute acid. It's almost all water that you're adding. So you're lowering the salinity of the sample over the course of the titration, and that's going to change the.
Okay, so why does this matter?
So it's magic, yeah. It's going to change the exact pH at which the endpoint happens. Now, what's really happening in terms of the equivalence point.
Oh, sorry, another graph.
Yeah, another graph. So what's really going on when you're doing this titration is that, like I said, the equivalence point, you can think of it as you've got an equivalent amount of sample and an equivalent amount of reagent, and that's the endpoint. But the true equivalence thing that's going on from a chemistry perspective, okay, what this chart is, I have to back up and talk about this chart. This is a carbonic acid carbonate speciation chart. That's what the techs call it. Nice, another nice big word. So pH of 8 is where we keep our tanks. It's almost all bicarbonate. There's hardly any carbonate left, and there's hardly any CO2. During the course of this titration, while we're adding acid, we're dropping the pH of the water, and we're bringing it down about to pH 4.5. The dash lower left corner there, where it's about 4.5. It's not all the way zero. It's not all the way gone. So the equivalence thing that we're going for here in doing this titration is really where the amount of the quantity of bicarbonate ions left in the solution is equivalent to the hydrogen ions that's in the solution.
So some of this is going to matter to me.
What's that?
Some of this is going to matter to me.
What is this? Why does this matter?
Yeah.
Because it's how we determine alkalinity.
So this is when it's changing from the color I can't tell to the other color I can't tell?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so the true equivalent. So how do I back this thing up? Let's see.
Left arrow.
Back. There we go. So the true equivalence point in this titration is happening. Imagine you're in a car driving along, and that blue line is a road, and you're driving from left to right. So you're turning to the right. Then you start turning to the left and turning to the left. So that point at which you're no longer turning right, you're going straight, and you're about to start turning left, is where the equivalence point happens. It's also referred to as the inflection point of the titration curve.
This is when the color changes.
And that's where, hopefully that's where the color change happens. The test. So the Salford nitrate test kit. In this case, you're adding some reagents and allowing some time to pass, and then when sufficient time has passed, you're going to compare the solution to your color card there, and hopefully you'll be able to figure out what your concentration of nitrate is. Phosphate's very similar, except you're looking for a blue color instead of a pink color. With the API is your light source, because that's going to be the best light to be using. So now, there we are. So, how good are these tests that we're doing? Okay, what is how accurate can they be? This is one question that everybody wants to talk about. The manufacturer's stated accuracy test. So for alkalinity, we got Salford says that their test is accurate to within 0.3 DKH. And when you think about it, it's like we're talking about, what does that mean? That means that whatever number you get, it could, the real answer could be plus or minus 0.3 DKH. So when they say they have an accuracy of 0.3 DKH, and it's not just Salford, it applies to all of the kit manufacturers, they're really talking about the inaccuracy of the test. Okay? They're not talking about the accuracy, they're talking about how inaccurate are they. What's the wiggle room here? Another way of putting that is uncertainty. Red Sea, their uncertainty is 0.14 DKH. The ELOS test kit is 0.5 DKH. It's limited by the fact that each drop is 0.5 DKH, so their accuracy and the resolution are one and the same. The HANA checker claims 0.2 DKH or 5% of the amount you're measuring, whichever is greater. Well, that 0.2 DKH corresponds to 5% of a DKH level, an alkalinity level of 5.6 in the tank. So most of us, I think, run our tanks a little bit higher alkalinity than 5.6. So the HANA is going to be, if you're running a DKH of 8 in your tank, then that uncertainty is 0.4. So then there's the KH Guardian, the new kid on the block in terms of alkalinity testing. Their stated accuracy is 0.33 DKH. So generally, these test kits or test methods have uncertainty of 2 to 5% of the measured value, the amount of alkalinity you're testing for. Calcium test kits, we've got Salford at 10 ppm, Red Sea at 5, ELOS at 10. The HANA checker, what they say is it's 6%. So at a calcium level of 420 parts per million, that's an uncertainty of 25 ppm, which is actually, and this is the new one, by the way. This is the new HANA checker that's got the little micro pipette for taking the sample. So, except for the HANA, all these other titrations that we commonly do, their uncertainty is around 1.25 to 2.5% of the amount of calcium that we measure. Magnesium, Salford 30 ppm, Red Sea 20, the ELOS is 50, and so these have generally 1.5 to 4%. So you can see there's a trend here. All of these titrations have an uncertainty of somewhere around like 2-ish to 4-ish% of the amount of the substance that you're measuring, of the analyte. So uncertainty. Why can't we have an accurate test kit? Why are all these test kits advertising numbers that are in that range of uncertainty? Well, there are a couple of different kinds of uncertainty or error that can get introduced into test methods. They're categorized basically as systemic error and random error. So systemic error is just basically it's the error that's inherent in the test method. When you take a sample, you might not get the exact 4 milliliters that they're saying. You might take a little bit more sample or a little bit less sample. Even in professional laboratories, when they're using volumetric glassware, the volumetric pipettes that they use that are very accurate always have an uncertainty in terms of it's going to be 10 milliliters plus or minus.
This never happens to me. Just the one I'm ready now, perfect measurement every time.
And so, they're at every stage, at every step in the process, there's an opportunity for error. And even if you're trying to do things perfectly and follow the instructions perfectly and make sure that the bottom of the plunger lines up exactly with the middle of the line on the syringe and all that, there still is opportunity for error. The syringe might not be exactly correct. It might be a little bit off. So this is where the sources of uncertainty come from. And now, that's the systemic error or uncertainty. Then there's the random error uncertainty, which is stuff it's not inherent in the method. It's, stuff happens when you're doing testing. By far, like Rich said, the number one single point of failure that's most common in the reefing system is the reef keeper. So in the analytical world, the number one source of random error, again, is the human being doing the test, because people can screw things up in all sorts of unimaginable ways. Now, uncertainty affects basically both your accuracy and your precision of the test. I want to take just a minute to go over what's accuracy and what's precision, because those words get used a lot, and people think they know how to use them, and they use them interchangeably, and they're not the same thing. So, how many target shooters do we have in the room? Lots of hands up. Terrence, yes, yeah. And so,
lots of guns in Louisiana.
It's really simple. When you're testing, when you're measuring substances in solutions, when you're testing for things, you're analyzing this, there really is a correct number. There is a true value. There are exactly so many calcium ions in that water. And so what accuracy is getting the right number. It's hitting the bullseye. Precision, on the other hand, is being able to hit that number over and over and over again when you're doing repeated tests. It's the repeatability of what you're doing. So you can think of it as accuracy is hitting the bullseye, and precision is nice, tight grouping. And so that's the difference between accuracy and precision. And people often, I find people usually use the word precise when what they really mean is accurate. We want our tests ideally to be both precise and accurate. But also, it should be noted that in the reef-keeping community, stability promotes success. Between the two, there's a general consensus that precision is really the more important quality than accuracy. You're not chasing some specific number. What's most important is to be able to have it be constant, and so you're getting the same number over and over again, so that your parameters are nice and stable. So, in terms of uncertainty and the human factor, the random error in our testing, what are the types of things that can go wrong? What are the common sources of these errors that will lead to poor accuracy and poor precision? Well, one of them is the way people use syringes. This is kind of an out there example, but the picture on the left there, I pulled off of a forum where a guy was talking about, hey, I'm doing my magnesium test and my results always come in higher than they should. And he did a picture of how he's taking his sample. And so he says, oh, I'm supposed to do 3 milliliters. So I pull the plunger out and I stick it into the water, and then I pull the plunger more until the water comes up to that 3 milliliter line. Well, what he didn't get is that conical black shape in the bottom of the plunger matches this conical shape in the bottom of the syringe. And what he's supposed to do is start with the syringe plunger all the way pushed down, of course, and then pull it to where the bottom edge of the black plunger is lined up with the 3 milliliter mark. So he's actually taking more like 3.2 milliliters there. It's like, no wonder your magnesium results are coming in higher.
So who measures it like that? Raise your hand.
And then there are other, okay, so all these titration test kits, the Red Sea and the Salifers, all have the little 1 milliliter syringe with the plastic tip that you use for delivering the reagent. And there's the ubiquitous call that, hey, I did my reagent and I got this air bubble in there, and is that working? Measure for the bottom of the air bubble or what? Well, the answer is that air bubble's fine. Don't worry about it. Just follow the instructions. Take the plunger up to 1 mil and you measure the bottom of the plunger. Just don't look at that air bubble. It's all good. So that this is another common source of error is people not realizing what's going on and thinking maybe I should look at the bottom of the air bubble for my reading, and they'll take the reading incorrectly. This is another slide that I pulled off of the forums. The colorimetric test. This guy got 2 different sulfur nitrate test kits, but the 2 different cards look radically different from each other. It's like, well, which one do I use? Which one do I trust? And this is just an example of another method uncertainty with this particular one that is in fact systemic, is the card could be wrong, it could be faded, it could be printed incorrectly. And so who knows what the real number is. This is the one that really hits everybody. This is the Salifert alkaline detitration. It's like, what? It's changing color gradually, and I'm not sure where am I supposed to...
I hate that thing. I hate it with passion.
Well, the right answer is that what I call kind of a lavender color that's under the word "end" there. When we put this together, the Terrence blew this slide up, and he actually cut off. There were the pinker and redder colors on the far right there. But that's another one. People just don't know. Do I wait? Do I stop at the first hint of color change, or is it right in the middle, or do I take it until it's all the way red? Which is it? What's right? And so again, this is the sort of thing that is going to lead to all sorts of inaccuracy in your testing. Although if you are able to do it reliably in the same way every time, you will at least have that precision that we're after.
I always forget.
And then there's the people who just have no clue because they can't see the colors correctly. All right? And I'm not sure what this says.
That's me, right here. Raise your hand, okay? Everybody in here, because I gotta feel like I've got some brethren here. Who is colorblind?
I'm not dumb.
Yeah. What's so funny is that I can actually read the one on the small monitor because something in the difference in the graphics, but I can't read the one on the big monitor.
I can't read it all. Actually, I found a website that generates these color charts, and I tried to make one that says Rich Ross is a jerk, but because Rich is colorblind, he wouldn't be able to read it unless you told him. He wouldn't know what it said. But anyway, so yeah, the human errors that get introduced are sampling errors, the syringe problems. There's the whole drop and scoop size. Things when you're having to deliver drops of things. Do you hold the bottle directly up and down, or can you angle it? And that, the way that you hold the bottle can affect the drop size. And so sometimes when the number of drops you're measuring is how you're doing the test, the drop size can be a factor in the accuracy of the test. The wait time. On these colorimetric tests, when it says wait,
so you saying the scoop matters?
Well, I got a scoop slide in a minute. I'll get back to the scoop in a second.
Okay.
And so the wait time, if the test says you should wait 3 minutes and then take the reading, it really matters. If it says wait 10 minutes to take the reading, that also really matters that you have the correct and accurate timing on when you do take the reading, because the color is going to typically continue to change. And so if you don't wait long enough, or if you wait a little bit too long, that's going to affect your reading. And then there's the whole vision thing. Can I see the color correctly? Ambient light. This Red Sea potassium test is one that's really affected by ambient light. There's this, for one thing, the color change is subtle to begin with. It's a purplish to a bluish color that you're looking for. But I actually found, I was getting frustrated. I was doing the Red Sea potassium test in my fish room at night, and I would never get to the end point. You'd just keep going and keep going and keep going. And so then I took the vial and I walked to the other end of the room where there's a different color light in the fixture, and all of a sudden, boom, I could see that, it's clearly blue. So it had more red in the spectrum, and so, no matter how much reagent I put in. So I could literally walk from one end of the room to the other, and on this end of the room, I'm not done with the titration. On this end of the room, I've already way overshot. Scoops. This is one another one that comes up on the forum. Oh, it's scoops. So it says you have to put 1 scoop of powder, and people get in these heated arguments about is it supposed to be heaping, or do I have to take a razor blade and scrape it off and make it exactly level, or what's the deal with how much powder, and if I screw it up, am I going to screw the test up? Well, the fact of the matter is, for most all these tests, anything that tells you to take a scoop and put it in, you really just have to have some of the stuff. The size of the scoop really doesn't matter. Typically, you're putting an indicator dye in there, and if you just get enough indicator dye to where you can see the color, you're good. So don't stress out about the scoop, and don't stress out about, I have to make it exactly one. If I get too much, it's going to screw everything up. No, don't worry about it.
You heard it here first.
So, how do professional laboratories deal with these problems? In my day job, I'm the IT guy for a wine testing laboratory in Napa Valley. And so again, like Terrence said, I'm not a chemist. I work with a bunch of chemists. I'm not a chemist. I just play one on TV. So
you're a wine tasting IT guy.
Yeah, it's a wine testing, not wine tasting also, but wine testing laboratory. So the professional laboratories actually use manual titrations still today. As much as we have these instruments that can measure all sorts of things, in the case of wine, there are certain wines that, for whatever reason, they have a little bit too much CO2 in them, or they have a little bit too much sugar in them, and that makes them ineligible for running on this particular instrument. So they will do titratable acidity. For winemakers, titratable acidity is the inverse of what alkalinity is for us, but it's the thing that they always do the titration test for. So you've got the stir bar and the little magnetic stir and the flask and the 50 mil burette, and they quite literally use indicator dyes. They're using phenolphthalein indicator dye to detect the endpoint, and they're doing just a professional chemistry way of doing a titration, just like you would. And they, quite frankly, have a similar method uncertainty as what our titration test kits have. Then there are auto titrators. This is a HANA Instruments auto titrator that's specifically designed to do alkalinity. It costs $850, and their method uncertainty, where are my speaker notes? I don't see my speaker notes. The method uncertainty, if I recall correctly, it's about 2.5% of the measured value for an $850 instrument. It has an uncertainty that is right in line with what our Salford test kits have. Colorimetric analyzers. I have this one because our laboratory has several of these. These are Siemens Advia 1200s. They're typically used in clinical environments for blood and urinalysis, but we've repurposed them to do wine testing with different reagents. But these ones basically do something very similar to what the Salford nitrate or the various phosphate test kits do. They have the reagents in there and they wait the correct amount of time. They use a colorimeter to measure the intensity of the color that results. And it's a $100,000 instrument that can do hundreds of samples an hour. But it's really just doing the exact same thing that we do in our fish runners. So I want to smooth segue into alkalinity monitoring devices and they're coming onto the market. There's the KH Guardian, which is currently on the market. There's the KH Director, which is a GHL's product. There's the Focustronic Alphatronic. Now, none of these are actually on the market yet. And then Pacific Sun also has a product. These are all pre-released. Now, as far as I'm aware, each and every one of these devices is using the endpoint detection method they're using is to use a pH meter to measure the pH of the solution. They do the titration until they get to however it is they're figuring out what the correct endpoint is. Now, my alkalinity monitor uses a different approach, and very specifically wanted to not use a pH meter because while that is the classic way of detecting the endpoint in your titration for an alkalinity titration, I didn't want to deal with the issues of calibration and fouling and drift on the probe. I just felt like that was not going to be reliable enough. So I developed an optical detection method. Got ahead of myself. An optical detection method that is not susceptible to those problems I just described. It's virtually maintenance-free. There is a sensor and LED light source, and those never wear out. Again, there's no maintenance to be done there. It just runs and does its thing. I use a single pump design that minimizes systemic errors. Again, there's that systemic error uncertainty thing. All of these other devices, as far as I'm aware, each are using multiple different pumps, one for the sample and one for the reagent. And there are just issues there, where as the pumps wear and as the tubing wears, the rate of delivery of the liquid is going to change slightly. And that's, the whole thing you're doing in a titration is you're getting the ratio of sample to the ratio of reagent, and that ratio is what determines, what your result is. And so a single pump, even though there will be some wear and some change in flow of the fluids over time, it will equally affect both the sample and the reagent, so that this ratio stays the same, even though the actual flow rate is different. And with this device, and it's been hammered on last year and this year, and Neptune has had prototypes, and they've been looking at it also. We very reliably can get an accuracy of 0.05 DKH. It's less than 1%. The uncertainty really is approaching 0.5% of the measured value. I'm really happy with the performance of it.
Yeah.
Woo. Thank you. So what's next? So I can do alkalinity with my little gizmo. I wonder what might we be able to test for in addition?
I think that's enough.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's give it up for Jim. Great job, man. Excellent. You guys ready to do another raffle? Another raffle, and then we can get into the stuff we're all waiting to hear about? Yeah? Or are you just going to hear about the stuff and we take the stuff back to my house and everything's good? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so wake up out there. Let's do another raffle. Let's raffle off. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to raffle off another Radeon, okay? And I'm going to raffle off this ATK up here, okay? And the last two Radeons that we're going to leave to the end, we're going to raffle both of them together. So if you have a tank that can put 2 of those over it. You're not stuck with one and then having to explain to your wife that, honey, you won one, I just got to buy the other. Okay, so you'll get 2. So let's give away an ATK first, okay? And the ATK is going to go to, let's see here, 6304. 6304. 6304 in the house. Excellent. I love when people clap for somebody else winning. I just love that. Are you happy, sir? Excellent, excellent. So the ATK, we'll talk about that in a second. It's one of the things we released this year. Okay, another Radeon. Who wants another Radeon? Okay, let's give away a Radeon. You know what? I think the competition is going to be good because we lost a few people in the audience there. You know, they left. And I really get excited when I pull one of those people's tickets. I really do. And you know, I love it better if they put their name on the back, because then I make everybody know their name, and then they go tell them that they won. There's nothing better. Okay, the winner of this Radeon is 6101. 6101. Where are you? Jackpot. Look at him in the back of the room back there. Okay, come up and get your Radeon. Let me get my other mic on here, guys, and we'll continue the show.
Okay, that's better. Okay, let's get the wire out. That looks pretty sticky. There we go. All right. So here I am back. We did that. So now I just want to quickly go and do kind of a rewind to last year's MACNA. What's kind of happened since then? And I'll kind of skip through this as quickly as I possibly can because I know you guys want to get to the really good stuff. But last year we talked about IOTA, which is a brand new protocol we have inside Apex and Apex Fusion, so that you guys can have a way to bring more things into your control system, right? So lately there's a lot of different devices out there who themselves have their own app. They communicate on your Wi-Fi and communicate with your router, but you have to have their app, which is fine. They have great apps, right? But it's kind of like your remote controls, you know, having 3 or 4 remote controls when you can just have one. You want to bring them into your Apex. So basically with the IOTA language, we're able to give that to the manufacturers, and they're able to basically program their equipment so it can talk with the Apex. And now your Apex talks to the network in your house, and then it talks over to that device, and you have complete control over it, just like you have any other kind of Radeon or any other light source that you might have, or a pump, or there'll be various things that we'll have out on IOTA. So we've been working on that since MACNA, and we've got a couple of different products that are in beta right now and soon to be public beta. The first is the Ethereal Light by MaxSpec. It's a really cool light. It has its own little module called the ICV6 that communicates on your home network. And that product basically looks just like, you know, you just have all the sliders, everything. It's really cool. We do have it on display in our booth. You should come take a look at it. We also, how many people here have AI lights? Woo, woo. How many people have the HDs? Now you guys are going to be able to control those right from inside your Apex, okay? Using IOTA, you'll have access to them just by joining them up, and you'll have all the features that you get, just like you do in a Radeon, but now inside the Apex. How's that stuff sound? So be looking for that real soon. We'll be entering beta for the public soon. We're beta testing it with a couple of really close people right now, but the general public beta will be coming not too far off in the future. Now last night we talked about the FMM. Any of you guys here have the FMM? It's cool, huh? Talked about last time all the different things you can connect up to the FMM. You've got flow sensors, you've got water level sensors, you've got leak detection sensors. Well, what we did after MACNA is actually start to create some kits. So we put it together, make it easier for you to buy them. We have the FMK kit, it's your flow monitoring kit. Anybody here have this? Okay, some of you want to get it. Because you get the flow meters, you get 2 of the 1/2-inch meters, you get 1 of the 1-inch ones, and you get to get all this cool information. I'm going to have a presentation on flow and pumps in a workshop tomorrow. It's going to be really cool. It's going to talk about all the things you can do that aren't going to cost you probably a whole lot of money to get more flow, and it's not buying a new pump, unless it's a core. Okay, so now an ATK. We came out with the ATK also this year. Automatic top-off kit. Anybody here have those? Okay, it's a pretty cool product, I know. What's really neat is we wanted to make it easy for somebody to set an ATO up, but we also wanted to make it one of the safest ones on the market. So we made it plug and play. It works, with any Apex out there. A lot of you guys thought, when we came out with the new Apex, that every new product that we come out with would have to require the new Apex, and that's not the case. When it's possible, we're going to be able to have stuff that's going to be backward compatible. It won't be forever possible, but as long as we can, we will. It's also the first product that we did that is completely standalone. Okay? So you don't have to have an Apex to run it. So if you're here and you don't have an Apex, and you're thinking about it, but you need an ATO, you can get the ATK, get your Apex later on, and plug it in. It's really easy to set up because we have a new tasks feature I'll talk about in a little bit that's in Apex Fusion. It's got 3 different safety stops in it with 2 optical sensors and a mechanical float valve. So even when the electronics fail, you're still going to have a way to stop the water going into your tank. It's got a super powerful pump. It does 14 feet ahead, so you can't have it on a separate floor. And of course, you can add all these other sensors to any of the FMM products. So for instance, the ATK has 2 separate free ports that you can plug these things into. So if you want to add another level sensor, or you want to add in a flow meter, you can add that into the ATK. Next up is the core. Please don't snicker. I know this is a bad joke for some of you because we've had this talking about the core for so long. I can assure you, we have been working on it ever since, because we're trying to get it right for our customers. And every product development has its ups and downs, and we've had a couple of downs, and now we're back up, and we actually have these out in the field. We shipped the first cores out to our insiders group a week or 2 ago, and they're running them already. You'll see them out on the forums. Any of those guys here? Any of the NSI guys in the core here? Excellent. Yeah, one guy, I got it. So the NSI program is really cool. It's kind of closing out because we've got a lot of people who applied for it. When we do come out with new products, we give them to a small group of people first, let them have access to them, and run them. And so we're running cores out there already, and we know this is going to be around very shortly around the corner. Just to recap though for you, the Core 20 is a pump that doesn't require an Apex. It does 2,000 gallons per hour. Of course, you can connect it to an Apex, but you don't need to. The Core 15 plugs into any 1-link port. So if you have a 1-link module with Apex Classic, or even with the Apex, or if you have the new Apex and you got the 832, you can plug it right into one of those ports. No power supply is necessary, and it does 1,500 gallons per hour. So as I said, we're right now with the NSI team. In a couple of months, you'll see them coming around the corner. Trust me, we want to ship this product more than you know. And our customers want us to ship this product like crazy, so it's coming out. So now let's take a look real quick at some things in Apex Fusion that I think some of you guys don't need in this room that are Apex freaks out there. You probably don't know about these features. They're really cool, and you should check them out after you leave today. Schemes is the first thing in Apex Fusion. Schemes is basically a way that you can share stuff with other control freaks, and you can share it with them, and they can share theirs with you. Okay? You get it's a 24-hour window of what's you've programmed in for that device. Maybe it's dosing for the dose, or it's a water change, or it's lighting, or it's your Radeon settings, or you've got AB Plus for your Radeon that you have it set up in there, and you want to share it with somebody because you made a little tweak to it. Vortex, Radeons, basically everything that you can do in one of those graphs in the Apex is there. You also can try out different settings in your tank. So if you change things around and you want to go back to the way you were dosing something, or you want to go back to the way you were lighting something a week ago, you can do it, and you don't have to remember what it is. You can recall them. You can save and restore the different settings for other users, as I said. And if you want to go look for it, if you're on one of those graphs, you just go click on the icon. It looks like a little download button. Once you click on that, you'll pull up a window, and you can enter information about how your aquarium is, so you can find like-minded people that have an SPS tank or an LPS tank, or 200 gallons, how much is the max. You can put in all this info, In the end, you're going to see a list that's got the people in it that match up and whether or not people liked what they did. So there's a rating system. So now I'm going, you know what? Andy here, his alkalinity settings for his dose are pretty cool. He's got a 250-gallon tank like me. He gets a good rating. So I go ahead and load them in, and boom, now I've got his stuff in there. I just upload it to my Apex, and now I'm running. You can see he's got like an alternating alkalinity calcium probably. He's probably got a calcium scheme out there as well. So it's a really cool feature. Does anybody here use this feature right now? Excellent. You guys like it? It's really handy, really handy. Next one's heartbeat, okay? Another thing we introduced this year, when your Apex goes offline, you're gonna get an alert, okay? It's super important. These offline moments can be for any reason though. We're not gonna know exactly why. It could be you lost power. It could be that you've got your Apex disconnected from the network and your network went down. It could be, you know, maybe there's a problem with the Apex. Any of these reasons, you're gonna get a message and say, hey, something's wrong, you don't know what it is, but you should go take a look at it. It doesn't happen immediately because we don't want false, positives in there and give you false alarms when maybe the network just drops for, a minute or two and then comes right back. So it takes about 30 minutes before you'll get a heartbeat notification when something's going wrong. Now, in order to enable that, it's right in the drop-down, the main drop-down on the left-hand side on the computer or under the one with your login name. You just go down, select heartbeat, go in there, flip a switch, and you've turned it on, and you'll start getting those notifications. If you don't have that set up already, I highly encourage that you go enable that as soon as possible. It will be super helpful. You will catch that time when your power goes out or your network goes down. Tasks. So tasks is a way that we can create something to make it super easy for you to set things up in your Apex. For the longest time, using Apex is about programming, and we're not getting rid of programming because it gives you a ton of power, right? And things that you can do. But at the same time, the average everyday things that you want to do, like installing a new product from us, or maybe it's even one simple task like, how much delay you're going to have on your skimmer, is something you don't want to have to go out and learn programming. I don't want people to have to do that. So that's why we have the task. They give you a step-by-step way of configuring these items, these very common things. We're going to keep doing more and more of them, but to use a task, you go on your main menu, there's a little icon there, it looks like a piece of paper with a task list, and you click on that. Then it'll pull up all the tasks that are available, okay? And we have them for new products, obviously, but we're going to look at one real quickly here for the skimmer, so that you can do that skimmer delay function without having to do any kind of programming. All you do is go in, plug in your so you select skimmer outlet yet, you get a chance to do that. Then you go and select which is your return pump, right? That's the one that you basically, it's going to know when it comes back on. And then you set the delay, right? So I don't want my skimmer to come back on for 5 minutes after my return pump comes on so that it stabilizes. When you're done, it tells you exactly what it's going to do, how it's going to configure it, and does all of the programming for you. So this is a really cool feature, and we're going to have more and more stuff coming here all the time to help you do these common tasks, and also to set up the product. Have you guys run this with any of the new products? That's pretty cool? Yeah, we think it is too. And of course, no programming required. So the next big thing, here's the next big thing. We're going to do ICP integration. Okay, how many here do ICP? Once in a while, ongoing. It's a new thing. The Trident guys really brought it to market. It's a big machine, crazy expensive. They take your water. You get the test results back. Lots of people are doing it. This is Eshin with Trident, who really brought this to the forefront a number of years ago. But basically, you send out your test. You're going to get results back. They have a website. You can go check on those results. But we thought, it's great to get that stuff again and there. But just like your lights, how can we bring all this stuff into one environment for you? So that's the thing we're going to be working on next, is integrating with ICP companies, and specifically Trident to begin with. Does that sound like something you guys like? Awesome. I know it's getting late, okay, because it's already like 10 o'clock, so you must be done for the day. Okay, so now what's coming? This is what you've been waiting for, right? Because it's always what happens, okay? Let's raffle off something first. How about that? Okay. Let's raffle off the dose And a couple. Oh, see, you caught me. All right, so let's have a giveaway for a dose. I'll put those two back in. Sorry, whoever those were. We're going to give away 2 NPRs first, so come up, let's keep this thing moving. Okay, the 2 NPRs are going to 6086 and 6296. 6086, 6296. Go up and get your NPRs. Can you catch her? There you go. Sharp. You're very sharp. We'll do that to you. There you go. It's okay. I touched you. Don't worry. All right, now the dose. Let's give away a dose here. Who uses the dose here? Anybody? I like to see that. I like it. Who here has more than one dose? Oh, the rest of you need to get with them. All right, this dose is a beautiful picture, isn't it? I took that picture at Interzoo like 3 years ago. Okay, goes to 63. Look, Dave woke up. 6382. 6382. Anyone? Woo. Hey. Excellent, excellent. Come up and get it. Okay. Sick. So, the next new product that we have is something called a leak detection kit. Okay? So again, we've got another product built around the FMM that we're going to be releasing. We already have the ALD, which is Advanced Leak Detection Kit, right? And we're going to basically be end-lifing that product and replacing it with this product and selling it as a kit. So with this kit, you're going to get the FMM. You're going to get 2 probes, okay? 2 leak detection probes with it, which will be the solid surface weighted ones. Okay? Again, it's going to be plug and play. You got the new tasks to help you set it up. It's better value than buying stuff a la carte. In other words, if you bought these pieces separately, it costs you around $10 or $15 more. And if you want to add more sensors, you've got the ability. You can add more leak detection sensors, you can add optical sensors, you can add flow sensors. That's the cool part about the FMM. And the price, Paul, what's the price?
$150, I believe.
$149.95, I believe.
Yeah,
is the price. So it's very reasonable, and you get a ton of functionality. So anyway, look for that because that'll be hitting the stores here in a couple, 3 weeks as all the stores start to get it. Does that sound like a good product for you guys? Excellent, excellent. Next up, what do you really want to hear about? What are you guys still here hanging out? You know, what do you want to hear about? So the question that we're getting forever, okay, as long as I've been with the company 5 years, as long as I've been with the company, I keep getting asked every event, will you ever make an alkalinity probe? And my answers, pretty much are always the same to people, okay? It's, these are the things that have to happen in order for it to be a product that people are going to want and use and be successful. First of all, it needs to be accurate, but more important, it needs to be precise. You guys heard about the difference in the gym between accurate and precise, right? So that's the most important part. It has to be easy to operate, right? So it has to be something that's kind of like an ORP probe in its operation. You drop it in the tank, or you set it down and you put a tube in something and you run it, and it just runs. You don't have to do much with it. It can't have like a monthly fee. It can't, have a bunch of crazy kinds of discs and other things. It's been evident the products that are still not released in the market that they're not liked by people in terms of the way those things they have approached the market. It's just not what people want to be doing. They don't want to be locked into some monthly fee. Customers have to decide for themselves how often they want to test, right? So there's obviously, a situation where you're probably not going to want to test your alkalinity maybe 100 or 125 times a day, okay? It's just not going to happen. At the same time, some people might not want to test their alkalinity but once a week, and that should be okay for them to be able to do. So that was important. It has to be affordable, okay? This has got to be something that, yes, they're advanced reef keepers. Everybody in this room is somebody who likes gear and everything and spends money on their aquariums, but at the same time, you can't be dropping, 10 Benjamins on this thing. It's just not going to happen for most reef keepers. So in my mind, it was always around a $500 number that made a lot of sense for people. because it is a lot to do. It isn't so easy and straightforward. And the reagents, $15, $20 a month, maybe, in cost, something like a test kit. And this is for somebody testing multiple times a day, again. That's what I thought it needed to be, and I just didn't think for the longest time that it'd be possible. I just didn't. I didn't think that this kind of equipment could be made to that level for the hobbyist. We've seen a lot of different products that have been announced, especially in recent months, that the company's going to bring to market. Really, there's only 2 products that really have been shown to be proven kind of in the public eye a little bit. One of them hasn't, come to market. It has different things with it, and I'm not here to slight it. The Cage Guardian is a product that works. It's out there. It's the first one that's really been able to be sold to the public. And it's kind of neat to see this stuff already start to happen for people. So now, we come to MACNA last year, and I meet Jim for the first time out there, and he's going around like, a guy, with his little snake oil truck, going around, hey, take a look at my little device. Oh, hey, did you hear about that guy? This guy over there, he's got an alkalinity tester. You should check it out. And it was really kind of cool. And so we decided to meet with Jim and take a look at this thing. That's Mark actually interviewing him. And see what it could do. And we were really, really impressed with many things about this device because of those kind of criteria. We entered an agreement with Jim to kind of license him and bring him on kind of as a consultant to help us understand this technology better. Myself, Rich Ross, and Jim himself have been running one of his crazy looking, it's a contraption. I mean that in the nicest way, okay? And I'm running it on my tank, and it's amazing I haven't had to do anything with it. And it's this, crazy put together contraption. It just works. It's worked for. Now, one of the cool things that you and Rich talked about this a little bit, is you get to have this much better understanding of what's happening in your aquarium. You'll notice here in this chart's actually charting the pH level in my calcium reactor against the alkalinity in the tank. Don't mind the little dips in there, that's just an artifact of some R&D. But you can see here I've made 2 changes to the set point, as Rich actually mentioned this as well, in my calcium reactor to bring it up. And the reason for that is because my alkalinity was rising, and I wanted to get it to level off. And so I could slowly bring it up, and over time, just get it right where I want it and get it to the level. If it changed again, I could come in and make those adjustments, all from my phone. It's the coolest thing. And the last 10 months of me running this has been just an amazing, amazing experience to have this on my aquarium. But really, there's got to be a holy grail of what we want to know for real-time parameters. So if it wasn't just alkalinity, what else would you guys want to monitor? Give me some. Calcium. Phosphate, I heard. Nitrates.
Say magnesium.
Really, when it comes down to it, when people ask about it, the 3 things that they want to hear about are alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. These are the building blocks, really, for a reef, and really what are directly corresponding every day to, are we growing coral skeletons? And this is what people want to hear about. So, with that, we give you the Trident. So what do you think, guys? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We went on a journey since last MACNA, and did some things where we figured out some things, and came to a point where it just blows me away. It really does to see some of the stuff that we're putting together. So, what does it cost? And when can I buy one? Who's thinking that right now? Everybody, yes, it's the take my money guy over here, right, okay? So I'm not going to get into huge details because I want to leave a little bit for you guys to see at the booth as well. But first, kind of how does it work? So what Jim was trying to get to in his presentation is titration is a method that works. Scientists use it. Dropping stuff into a vial works, okay? I don't have to get into all those technical charts of it. It works, right? The problem with doing it is the machine, and the machine is you, okay? You can't grip it right, you don't know where it is, you saw all the things that Jim was talking about, right? Your eyes, the color blindness, everything. But the fact is that the methodology itself works, okay? The Trident, also holds enough reagents for at least 30 days, okay? So, and that's in 4 times 24 hours for alkalinity, okay? So every 6 hours on alkalinity, and twice a day in calcium and magnesium. The way we look at it, you're not really wanting or needing to test more than that on a normal basis. If you want to test more frequently on the alkalinity, you will be able to do that. But it's as a normal, everyday thing, and you run your read. Because this is how I run it. It's absolutely all you really need, and it's going to make the most of your reagent use, and you're going to get the right balance out of it. Maybe once in a while you want to run it for a day, and you want to run it for maybe 12 times during the day. That's something that's possible.
Yo.
It's plug and play. There's no probes to mess with. You're not going to have to calibrate probes. There's no reagents to mix up. Pre-made reagents, they'll be available. So, what else? Precision. It's what matters to us, right, as well. So the AL is going to have a precision of plus or minus 0.05. It might even be a little bit better, but I think it's going to be right around 0.05. Calcium, 10 parts per million, okay, plus or minus. And the amazing one to me is really on magnesium. Magnesium is 10 parts per million. Now, mind you, this is measured generally in our tanks at like, what, 1350? So that's an incredible amount of precision on the magnesium number. Of course, all this is going to be instrumented inside Apex Fusion, and you'll have the data available to be used for automation purposes, for notification purposes, for all the things that you know and love with your Apex. You'll be able to do it with the Trident. Now, here's the part where it might get some of the booze, but there's nothing we can do about it. You've got to have the latest Apex, okay? And it's just the way it's going to have to be, because there's a lot going on here, and that, Apex Classic, it's a great product. But every time, just so you guys know kind of the reasons behind it, every time we come out with a new product, all the code for that new product has to go into the device itself, okay? And so there's both complexity and space and storage and everything. And there's just, with some of these devices, and the other one is the 832, it's just not possible. So it's the perfect time for you to take the leap and go move on